Have you ever wondered if your cortisol is running a little bit too high? Or have you ever wondered how to handle the toxins that are released into your bloodstream when you are trying to lose weight and doing autophagy fasting? That is what we're going to cover today in this video. So, welcome everybody. Coach Amanda right here, if you don't know who I am. And I am going to answer these questions that were asked a while back in my Fast Like a Girl Facebook group. So, let's get started. Okay, so one of our members asked, how do I know if my cortisol levels are elevated? And this is such a great question because if our cortisol levels are elevated, then we're basically under a lot of stress. Our body's under a lot of stress, and that can contribute to the cortisol belly, right? And that's what we don't want to happen. And we want to avoid that, and we want to correct it if that is a problem. So, how do you know if your cortisol is running too high? So, you might feel some anxiousness, you would feel fatigued, you would feel irritable, you would have difficulty concentrating, you're going to have difficulty sleeping. You would also have muscle tension, discomfort, or weakness possibility. You might have some digestive issues. And you might also notice some weight gain. Like I said, the cortisol belly thing going on. Erratic blood pressure could be a sign, thinning skin, and easy bruising could be an issue or a sign of that. Round, flushed face, development of fat pad between the shoulder blades, or even bone loss. So, all of these could be signs that your cortisol is too high. So, again, this could cause a problem with the visceral fat. And if you're just a little bit chubby, it's okay. But if you have visceral fat, these can be leading to more serious conditions like, diabetes, kidney disease, different things like that. So it's really important that we, focus on this and address this so that we can be our healthiest possible. So another way that you can know if your cortisol is too high is by having some testing done. So you can have a specific stress test done. Dr. Mindy recommends the Dutch hormone test, the Dutch Complete. And what that test does is it is a urine sample test that is done over a 12-hour period. And not only does this test your cortisol levels, but this also takes a look at your female sex hormones, your estrogen, progesterone, and testosterone to find out exactly where you're all at with all of these hormones, as well as it takes a look at your adrenals. And it's really important to get an overall look at what your hormones are doing, as well as your adrenals and cortisol levels. So that's why Dr. Mindy recommends having, a full test done called this Dutch Complete. So, like I said, there is a separate test that you could just test for cortisol, but there is a more complete way to do this, especially if you're, in a perimenopause situation, you're over 40, you have some situation going on where you're not able to lose weight for some reason. It's a good idea to figure out what's going on, because it could be a situation where you're actually too high in cortisol, yes, but you're actually, your estrogen levels are too high. So you could be not properly methylating or detoxing properly, which leads us to the next question that another member asked. And that was, Melissa asked, when you have a fair bit of weight and potentially toxins and you want to get the weight off, heal and feel well, how do you avoid side effects from those toxins being stirred up in your system? What's the safest approach to this scenario? So this is actually a really great question, especially as you're moving towards fasting for longer periods. Like a 17-hour fast, for example, is called an autophagy fast. The switch turns on after 17 hours for most people. And what happens is the body starts getting rid of those rogue cells that are about to go cancer, or the cells that are just going rogue and having issues. They're going to, the body is going to clean itself up and get rid of those. And in what's going to happen is you're going to feel some detox symptoms. So you might feel a headache, you might feel achy, you might be really grouchy during this process because it's not really that great of a feeling. So what you want to make sure that you do is you want to make sure that you're properly hydrated. You want to stay hydrated. Make sure that you're drinking at least half of your body weight in ounces every day. You also want to make sure that you're using electrolytes in that. The salt is okay to use, but it's better if you can actually use what I use, which is BEAM Electrolytes, is what it's called. It has, proper balance of the electrolytes in there. It's a liquid form. It's super easy to use. And I also recommend pairing that with Beam minerals because the minerals actually helps our body to naturally detox every day. And so it's really important to be able to do that. When you use both the Beam electrolytes and the minerals together, then you only need to use a half ounce of each daily. And you could get one order of those would actually last for 2 months. So it's really super important that you have the electrolytes that your body needs to function properly, of course, when you're fasting, but you also need to make sure that you have the minerals that you need to help your body actually do the detoxing. And like I said, it'll do a gentle detox for you every day. It'll go in and bring the minerals that you need, and it's like having a dude come in. He's bringing all the nutrients that you need, all the minerals that you need, but he's in his backpack as he's leaving, he's picking up all the bad things, all the toxins, and he's taken that out with him. So the minerals are really very important. It's a starting point, in my opinion, that you really need to have that going on for you. And then the other thing that you want to do is you want to also open up your detox pathways. So there's several ways that you want to do this. You want to get a castor oil pack for the liver, okay? And you also want to maybe do some rebounding. You can get a mini trampoline and you could do what's called a health bounce. So you're not actually jumping up and down on the trampoline, you're just doing a health bounce. So your feet are not coming off the trampoline, you're just doing a gentle bounce. It is actually an exercise. You would be surprised. You do feel it in your legs. I feel it usually after about 15 minutes in my legs, but it opens up the lymphatic system, which is super important for being able to detox. You can also do the lymph massage. So you can join my group if you're interested on getting more information about this. I can also put it in the description. It's also important that when you start doing the fast longer than 17 hours, because that is going to help your body detox with those longer fasts, is you can use a binder like activated charcoal to help you get those toxins out of your system. So, and like I said, the fasting in and of itself over 17 hours is going to help your body go into that autophagy. Like I said, it's not going to always be comfortable. There's going to be a lot of healing going on with your body, and just realize that when you're feeling those uncomfortable symptoms, that your body is actually healing. Your body is actually doing what it needs to do. And it's going to help you to be able to think more clearly. It's going to help you to feel more energized. And it's going to bring you that healing that you need. And if you are on a weight loss journey, it's going to help your body be able to release that weight if your body is actually able to get rid of those detox things that are going on. So you also, if you're new to fasting and you're not sure, how to get started, you can grab the link down in the description to find out how to get started in this. You can grab my quick start guide. You can also, if you're newer to fasting and you need like a fasted snack, you can learn about what you can actually eat during your fasting window to help learn how to do this fasting thing. It'll help your body and your mind cooperate with you a little bit better when you have something that is going to help you get through this with, a little bit of help to get your mind off of being so hungry. It'll help you get through those rough spots when you're first learning how to fast, or even when you're doing an extended fast. And it's just a little bit, it's just enough. So it's, like I said, it's not enough to actually break your fast, but it'll help you be able to extend your fast on it. And I have a video about that I'll link down in the comments, and I'll also have it play right after this video. So I do this, every month or so, where we have Ask a Coach. And so you can send in your questions, comment below if you're watching on YouTube. And what you'll do is just ask a question that you're curious about, and I will answer that for you on an upcoming video. So thank you so much for tuning in. And one more thing I wanted to mention is if you do need to get that Dutch testing done, or any kind of blood work or stress test or whatever, I am actually a practitioner with full script, and I can also help you with any supplements that you need in your journey. But I would recommend getting some testing done to see where you even need the supplements. And the first starting point is actually going to be with the minerals, because if you're not properly, if you don't have the minerals that your body needs, you're not really taking in the supplements. Your body is not assimilating those supplements anyway. So let's start with number one, and that's getting the minerals going, and then testing, and then see what you need with supplements. So I'm happy to help with that. My contact information is down in the description of this video, and I look forward to answering all of your questions as we go along. Thanks so much for tuning in and being here. Have a great day, and we'll see you on the next video. Bye-bye.